Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Jackson County Board of Supervisors meeting for Tuesday, October 29th of 2024. We will call the meeting to order. With me today, Don Schwenker, Lynn Flegel, myself, Mike Steinis, are your county supervisors. Lisa, who is very busy this last couple of weeks, and our auditor is with us today.
Good morning.
Bjorn, our IT director, and Luann, our executive assistant. Mary and Brittany, I want to throw out there, are here with the media.
Very good.
Wear a name tag. Welcome, everyone. And first on our agenda this morning is Becky Chapin, our Director of Human Resources for departmental issues. Good morning.
Good morning. How's everybody?
Good.
Good. So a couple more staffing changes for you this week. As of last week, the Sheriff's Department still had 2 full-time vacancies to fill. They had interviewed over the last several weeks and made a couple of conditional offers. One of the full-time vacancies was offered to a current part-time employee, Dylan Sade. I would ask for a motion to approve Dylan Sade moving from part-time corrections officer to a full-time corrections officer effective October 25th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve Dylan Sade moving from part-time corrections officer to a full-time effective October 25th of 24 as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
And the second full-time vacancy was offered to an outside applicant, Brandon Russell. I would ask for a motion to approve the hiring of Brandon Russell as a full-time corrections officer effective October 28th, 2024 at an hourly rate of $21.42, including authorizing the county auditor to issue biweekly paychecks for the same.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the hiring of Brandon Russell as a full-time corrections officer effective the 28th of October of 2024 as the rate indicated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried.
And there are still several PRN on-call positions to fill with some of the transitions that they've had in the department, and they did have some PRN vacancies prior to the transitions they've made. They did make one offer for a new PRN. She has completed all pre-employment requisites, so her offer has been final. So I would ask for a motion to approve the hiring of Brooklyn Massey as a PRN corrections officer effective October 29th, 2024 at an hourly rate of $21.42, including authorizing the county auditor to issue biweekly paychecks for the same.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the hiring of Brooklyn Massey as a PRN corrections officer effective October 29th, 2024 as hourly rate indicated. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Hey, Becky.
Yep.
Now that we've had all these changes and stuff,
Yep.
could I get an updated staffing list
Yep.
of positions and vacancies?
Yep.
And all that, if you don't mind.
You
Yeah.
can share that with all of us if you.
Yeah. Got it. Yep. And then there has been a vacancy in a park ranger position out of conservation since the end of July when Adam resigned. In order to hire anybody in a law enforcement position, a candidate has to go through written testing, physical agility testing, and an MMPI if they're not a current law enforcement officer. So we did make a conditional offer to a candidate. He was able to go to the academy to complete those 3 things in October. We received word last week that he successfully passed all of those things, so they can officially make the offer of employment to him. And he will start with us now, and then he will attend the academy in January. And then there will be a contract in place with him. We'll pay for his fees to go to the academy, and he'll have a 3-year contract with the conservation department in lieu of us paying for those services.
So the contract includes like a payback.
It's a
scenario.
3-year, 33%. Yeah. So we actually get a huge discount. We only pay $4,500 to send government employees to the law enforcement academy plus meals. So it's about $5,900 is what that expense is. So we prorate that for 3 years if he weren't to stay with us for that amount of time. So I would ask for a motion to approve the hire of Isaac Anderson as a conservation park ranger at the hourly rate set by their union contract of $26.05 per hour, with a 50-cent increase at 6 months and 50-cent increase at 1 year, including authorizing the auditor to issue biweekly paychecks for the same.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the hire of Isaac Anderson as a conservation park ranger at the terms presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
And then I was on to discuss a possible appointment to the Civil Service Commission. There is one vacancy right now. I did not receive a full application for that. So I won't need action on that today. We'll continue to receive them for, did you get something? Or what do we, okay, for the next week. And if any come in over the next week, I can come back in next week.
Laughing. I'm supposed to return this.
I-
You did.
Oh,
You
no,
all over it. I was laughing as you were
Made it.
doing that.
A mess of it. Yeah. That was the
Read
copy.
through the script.
Sorry about that, Lisa.
You're good.
Dissect it, yeah.
We can email you one, I got.
Okay, yeah, as far as the commission goes, yeah, we're still taking them
Yeah,
then.
yep, so if anything comes through, we can revisit it next week,
Okay,
okay?
yeah,
Thank you.
thank you, have a good day. Are there any visitors with us or on the Zoom that would like to address the board this morning? Seeing or hearing none. Nathan, Jennifer, Michael, Lisa? If we want to move
Pretty
along,
simple this morning. I just need a motion to approve the minutes of the October 22nd, 2024 board proceedings as written by Auditor Smith and authorized publication in the official newspapers.
Second.
motion and a second to approve the minutes and publish as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed? Motion carried.
That's all that I have for the board today.
Well, again, pass on to your staff. We appreciate the work they've been doing and they're hard at it. And we've got visitors and people are showing up to vote, so that's a good thing.
Yes, it's been very busy.
Yeah, well, good deal. We thank you for that.
It looks like it's a seamless process. Seems like it's flowing well, so
Mhm.
hopefully it is.
Last Wednesday, we had to bring more tables up last Wednesday. But other than that, we've had no issues. So last Wednesday, I spent pretty much last Wednesday morning moving furniture. I needed more voting space and, we had tables, this table was full. So we brought another table up so we could process more voters faster. And honestly, we've been voting a lot of people curbside. We've been taking a lot of ballots out to cars. So
Nice.
even though you're not able to walk down the hall, we offer curbside voting. We also offer curbside pickup of ballots if you are unable to return your ballot. So, you know what? We've been going outside a lot lately.
It's been,
Some
It's
fresh
nice
air.
weather.
Yeah,
That's as good as it gets, huh?
no complaints. Yep.
Keep up the
Appreciate
good work.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, at this time, Nathan Jones, our Jackson County Conservation Director, has stepped in the door, so we won't let him sit down. We'll bring him forward.
How are you guys?
Good, looking for an update.
Yeah, so I don't have exact numbers because my computer was spinning up stuff this morning. I just left it there for a program after this, but to start with some big things we got kind of moving. Maybe you've been filled in on. I'm gonna start with the biggest is the roof at the center with the storm damage this spring. We finally got some numbers back from insurance. And it's been run by our board last week at the meeting. 2% of the building's cost or estimated value is what our deductible is for through the insurance. Comes out around $54,000 is what our deductible is for roof replacement through insurance. And then they
your deductible is 54 at 2%. How much is that building worth?
they valued it at over 2 million some. And then they also devalued the roof at its age. So let's just put it this way, they value at a replacement at over $130,000 over a roof, and we can't get what we have currently for shingles. They looked at something similar. I don't think we want to go similar again if we're gonna have a problem, but that's a question to be had in the future.
What kind of roof is on it?
Well, it's got like a rubberized plastic shingle. It's supposed to look like slate. They're kind of curling, and the wind definitely lifted them up and turned, and you can see the nails under a bunch of them right now.
Hold on.
It's 20 years old, August. So, they said they would value, if it would have been at 15 years, they wouldn't have devalued it. But at 20, they took that, and so they removed another, I think it was 30 some thousand. No, it was maybe 40 some, I think.
I'm trying.
You might have it, Freddie, at least.
Yes.
But to say the least, they'll give us right around $30,000. And so I have not signed it. Our board does not want me to sign the insurance thing on that. And I think that's wise at this point, something to figure out. So right now, once I get through a few of these other projects I'm working on, we need to get some actual bids, I think, at replacement. One of our board members wants to look at, is there a way to repair what we have? Just moving them back into place, putting them back down, and see if we can get another 10 years out of that. I don't know if that's possible or not. So that was something I want to throw in front of you guys, just so you know, it's something we're trying to figure out as you have a bunch of other big line items coming at you at once. So, hopefully I'll know more by the next time I come in here, but I do not plan on signing the insurance claim right now to receive that 30,000 unless that's something you guys think I should move forward with, but I'd like to have a little more information because it seems,
So my guess is when they were put them on, it was probably a 50-year shingle. That's my point. If it was something special rubberized shingle and that.
they are supposed to be.
So my next question is, we're 20 years into this. Do you have a maintenance, or capital improvement fund that we intend to use as things deteriorate? Or is it something we got to budget for on a 1-year basis, which is,
We don't
Probably
have
not a good
a
idea.
fund right now, and that's something, so they are supposed to be, I think it was 40 or 50 years when I looked at them, but they also said on their thing lifetime. But that company's no longer in business, as you look at that, or,
Subsidies run out or something.
yeah, so. It's something I think we need to start thinking about some of these funds, how we maybe set aside a fund for some of these major issues as they come along.
well, I think you have to certainly,
Um,
discuss a capital improvement fund anyway, or a
Yeah. So,
maintenance
Which is
schedule of
sort
some
of my
kind. I mean, yeah, we're looking at, an air conditioner system here now or some kind of something, I don't know.
yeah,
Something we have up against, but to budget 1 year for it is not financially responsible for us to do that either, so.
yeah, well, that's the scary. I don't know how we go about it, and I think there's things to talk and discuss and figure out between our board, your board. How we get,
So would they consider a metal roof out there? Is that
Well-
not aesthetic?
I think that's what we're considering and hoping that'll be a cheaper option. We probably want standing seam, so we don't have screws that'll warp out in 10 or 15 years and have another leaking issue like some buildings do. Have it under the seam where it can be protected. I think we're open to a metal roof. Actually, in my opinion, that makes the most sense. I don't think asphalt shingles make sense because they don't last like they used
Yeah,
to.
my guess is that's why they went that way, to make it.
They were trying to make
The
it last.
appearance or even, I don't know, but I would say your best scenario now, yeah, if there's a legitimate way to extend
Yeah,
the lifetime of it and then start to budget for
yep. Try to budget for our replacement
improvements, yeah.
in 5 years, 10 years, I don't know. So I'm not a roofer, I'm not an expert, so hopefully a couple of these guys that will get in will give us. And maybe it'll be better than what insurance says.
That's one thing, well, if you don't replace the roof, does that change what the insurance?
Well, and that was another question is, are they gonna say, well, you didn't fix that, and if we have a leak problem in 2 years, will they? But on that case, it's $54,000 deductible. We could fix a lot of leaking, probably.
Sometimes they'll give you like 80% of what they say they're gonna give you,
Yeah,
and you'd only get the other 20% when you fix it.
yeah,
So if you don't plan on fixing it within the year, you would only get the 80%, which would start your capital improvement budget.
yeah. So I think those are questions to send them. Another thing they haven't gotten back to me was a shelter on site also had some damage. I think they lumped that into this other thing, but they aren't answering me. If that's lumped in, and it just has
So
a
they
roof
forgot to
gap.
look at it.
It's not a huge deal in my opinion. I can't even tell it's damaged. Unlike the roof on the center, you can actually see the damage. So, yeah, that's the big item. Another one, Destination Iowa project, the stream bank restoration, that all went, the main part of that project went out to bid last week, I think it was. I'm losing track of time. And we'll know kind of by the 14th, where we're
Are
standing.
the bids getting open on the 13th and then we meet here on the 14th?
I think it get open by the city on the 14th of November. And then the 15th, we'll have a meeting with everybody together to discuss. Hopefully, it's not as bad as what the engineers' cost estimates are. That's my hope. We just did do our staff and Friends members are doing a mailing for fundraising. To businesses in Macokota, trying to sponsor things like benches on the disc golf course and signs and some of that stuff.
What time was the meeting on the 15th? 9 o'clock?
I think it's 9 o'clock on the 15th.
It is.
Drawing the, so hopefully we'll have a little bit more, but that will lie into that CAT grant that we've, are in the process of getting written right now. Communication with ECIA and the city, they want to wait until we have the cost or the bids to even apply, because they don't want to throw out an incorrect number on the CAT grant. So that's coming forward. I guess.
As I've heard about that a little bit, that we have to make a decision pretty quick on that after we get the bids.
It's kind of scary, so it's making me lose sleep a little bit, so.
Well, we'll have to see what the bids are first before we,
Yeah,
see what kind of numbers we're looking at.
yep, so those are kind of the main things. We did get yesterday was our first day for our new park ranger. Isaac Anderson replaced Adam, so he passed all the pre-qualification stuff. He'll have to go to a January class at the academy. It's hopefully we can get him in that class is our goal. So that process is starting to move. Campgrounds are winding down in the next month. We've had to shut the water off because city water, my understanding is they wanted it off so we didn't have an issue here. Last with those cold nights with crack lines with all of our exterior lines at the campgrounds, but we are still open through the end of the month, campgrounds. But that camping season's kind of winding down, boating season's winding down. We're trying to move forward to get the stuff done for the spruce ramp. I think we got some permitting finally, so we can get that ramp bid out. Hopefully moving on Bridgeport ramp too soon, so those are finally moving again. Been working with the Corps to try to remove parts of our lease. The first step was Duck Creek with them, but now we kind of got to step back. They want us to pay for environmental assessment at a cost of $2,500 for something that, in my opinion, probably has no environmental issues, but our board told me to hold off on that. And kind of wait that out, maybe see if we can get the Corps to work with us a little more on that before we can move to the next one, but I guess.
You mean you were giving up the lease? Is that what I'm hearing?
We were trying to remove pieces of the lease.
Like along,
There was one
Down
piece
the
there
river
along the
from
river,
Spruce.
there's a piece down south of Bellevue, there's Duck Creek. When the railroad tracks were lifted, we can't get in there to mow safely anymore. And then we're in violation of a whole bunch of core things within our lease at that site. So that was another reason to remove that. To save us cost and money, but now they want us to pay for something else.
plus there's liability issue right there south of Spruce, because a lot of people mow that bank and stuff, and those trees
Yep,
are technically
yeah.
required to.
Now we're kind of responsible for a bunch of stuff, the way Corps was smart when they wrote their stuff, their leases, obviously, and, they got us over the barrel on a few things, so we're kind of in limbo land on some of that right now. But yeah, so that's kind of a short of what's going on. There's a lot of other things kind of going, but I wanted to hit you with the worst one first.
Okay.
And positive thing, the new display is in, and we had the opening on Sunday. Pretty good crowd showed up. I think it turned out pretty as good as expected, if not better. Nice display, new addition to the center. Hopefully it'll bring in locals again and help the tourism to the area. It's kind of our goal, and also education. I mean, already Monday and today we've had probably a couple hundred kids out there just going through that stuff. So those things are going on with that stuff. So any questions for me? I guess I can answer. I didn't mean to take too much time.
No, I was just gonna ask you, have you been up to date, updated or anything on the Sioux Line project, with this transition line, DC line that they're talking about coming down along. Well, there was a meeting last night in Bellevue at
Okay.
Bellevue, so I mean, you might want to keep updated on that a little bit. It was
Yeah.
more of an informational meeting. It wasn't a public meeting where a question and answer thing last night. It was more set up in stages of booths, and this is where it's gonna go, or this is projected, and
Okay.
you know, they're gonna have manholes every 700 feet or something like that, or 700 yards, and I heard some rumbling about, that maybe build some kind of, maybe some kind of hub or something up north to our, close to our property at Spruce Creek, like where the
Okay.
new bridge went in. So it could be something that may be interesting. If
Yeah.
they're gonna make a road improvement somewhere in there, could they improve our road going through?
True.
Yeah, so we would have access, that we could
Yeah,
all get together on this deal before somebody makes a decision and comes and tells you this is what we're gonna do.
okay, yeah,
I would
haven't
touch base
seen
with
anything
even
on that.
Teresa or somebody at the city.
Okay,
There was an informational meeting last night. It was very. I mean, again, you just went
yeah,
boot to boot and picked up literature and read about it basically, but.
okay, yep, I can.
But
reach
you
out
know
to
how the
Teresa.
railroad does. They're gonna make a plan, they're gonna do it, and all
Oh,
of
yeah.
it's done before,
Yep, so,
So, but it's coming from way up west and it's going to Illinois,
okay, all right,
Chicago, wherever, so we're.
huh,
It's a DC line.
Yep.
So it's basically an 8-inch PVC pipe, it's.
okay. Interesting, yeah,
Yeah,
I'll maybe reach out to the city of Bellevue and see if they have more information for me.
yeah, it'd be interesting for you to.
Or at least get on the emails.
Well,
Yeah,
you know,
I didn't know anything about it.
Just in the back of my head, it's just
Yeah.
like, if they're gonna build something on the other side of that into somebody else's property. And they're gonna pay X amount of dollars for the property or the road lease or whatever,
Yeah,
let's put one in here and maybe we can both benefit from it or something.
okay, yep,
Okay,
sounds good, thanks, guys.
yeah,
Good.
have a good day, Nate.
Yep.
All right. Oh, you didn't know where she was this morning? She's here.
I didn't know that.
He knows she's here.
Well, Jeannie Collins here, our Jackson County Weed Commissioner is here with the department update. Good morning, Jane.
Morning.
Well,
We have your report.
As far as weed commissioner, I did have 3 complaints this year. Was all one was private landowner and 2 were right away. So I think we resolved them.
In your report, there's one question that isn't answered. Do they all need to be answered?
I don't know.
At the bottom of page 2, how many times did you contact individuals personally rather than sending them a weed control notice?
That'd be 0.
So you think it says pretty status quo, most of it in the report, the way it looks to me, I think we're doing okay. I mean, I don't know what we're doing for spraying. I see where the chemicals were, X amount of chemicals were purchased and whatnot, but.
The county last fall did quite a bit of mowing and I went back and tried to spray that regrowth fund, concentrate on the highways.
So that's a good point that you bring that up, because I think they're doing a lot of mowing right now. It appears to me
They
anyway,
are.
they're doing a lot of mowing.
And I'm assuming next spring or this winter, I'll get more maps and then we kind of figure chemical acreage off
Okay.
of those maps.
So if we need to do something to get some more spraying done, or we have to custom something, I think it's a good idea to try to keep up with this while, the mowing's done and. Especially along our paved highways or roadways anyway, I mean, it's been brought up several times that, boy, you can't see any, critters come out of the ditch because the overgrowth is so close to the edge of the road anymore, so it's not.
They did do a lot of work on the Caves Road last year.
Yeah, I did hear that. I heard, a lot of good things about it,
And we have more scheduled. When they get back in December, January, they're gonna go from, was it Pleasant Ridge to Canton? That's
Yeah,
when we contracted that guy that's part of that.
Pretty close. Emmeline, I think they almost made it to cut and brush, so, and we sprayed, there's one little stretch that the wind never was right for us that we didn't spray in that, but basically we went from Maquoketa to Emmeline except for.
But you're talking about clearing like we did last year.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm more talking about the smaller stuff that they're actually mowing off right now.
Yeah.
They're mowing some of the sumac stuff off and they're getting some of this stuff, so.
And then and then the regrowth is coming back in the spring and then I'm going through and
Yeah,
spraying the
if we
regrowth.
can keep up with that would be great, yeah. Even if we have to sub some of that out or something, but, yeah, so I guess any other questions for
Keep up the good work.
Jeannie? We appreciate it, and,
Do you have any questions or comments or concerns for us?
again, like I said, if there's other requests that you might have during budget season coming up, that we hear about it anyway, we can't promise a lot of things until we look at our final numbers or whatnot, but I certainly think we need to keep up with the overgrowth and, you
And
know, you see
secondary
less and
roads,
less maintenance. If I should say on fence lines, you know, I mean, there's not as much livestock as there's out there anymore. And people neglecting their fence lines and then it just continues down in the right of way and whatnot. So it's just an overgrowth anymore, but. We appreciate it.
yeah, secondary roads, they were good getting the chemical and we've been working with them, so it seems to be
Good.
an all right relationship.
Good. Thank you much.
Are you going to be approving?
Oh, we have, is it on the agenda? We
Motion
need to.
approve the 2025 County Weed Commissioner Certification Board.
Okay, let's do the commissioner's weed report first. That's on there. Well, it looks like we have two action items.
Okay.
Is that your motion?
Sure.
I'll second that one.
I have a motion and a second to approve the annual weed commissioner's report as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye opposed, motion carried.
And I motion we approve the 25 Weed Commissioner Certification Board.
Second that.
I got a motion and a second to approve the 2025 weed commissioner's certification form as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye opposed, motion carried. Thank you. Yeah, if you think we have other wild flowers and cucumbers getting out of hand, we'll have to try to keep a hand on them.
Not gonna be flood spraying wild.
Wild cucumber.
It looks like we're gonna do a few plantings next year. We getting some free seed from Tallgrass Prairie Center. Well, we applied for some free seed, so we might do a couple
Nice.
areas and see how it goes.
Good. Thank you, Jeannie.
Thank you.
Have a good day. So I believe Luann, if you're available,
Sure.
we're just cruising right along here. I didn't see Michael with us.
He's on.
I was guessing he was gonna be here, but
Oh, he's on.
I see him now.
I told him he, come on, but that's how he's coming on, so. All I have for you today is the calendar. Thursday, October 31st at 9 a.m. is an RPA meeting by Zoom only this time for Don and Nin. And from 11 to 1 is the 7th Judicial District of Corrections 50th anniversary celebration in Davenport, also for Nin. On Thursday and Friday, I do plan to be out of the office, so if you're looking for me, I'm not gonna be here. On Sunday, let's remember to all set our clocks back an hour. Then our next regular meeting will be on Tuesday, November 5th, which will be a very busy day for Lisa again. So I'm gonna keep the meeting as short as possible on that day.
Do what we can.
Any other
So we
questions?
were invited and I think everybody got the invitation to some kind of TikTok presentation over at the 120 Wednesday. This Wednesday at 9-ish, tomorrow at 9-ish or something.
Was that canceled?
I don't know much about TikTok, but this
Your
informational,
business with TikTok.
informational with, for officials or whatever it may be, so everybody knows about it anyway.
At one.
That one? Okay, I have 9 for some reason, but we'll have to look back at the invite.
Yep. So it's a.
Okay, any other questions for Luann?
Nope.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Okay, so, I see Mike Storm, our Jackson County Emergency Medical Service Coordinator is with us by Zoom today. Good morning, Stormy, for department update.
Morning, everybody. You hear me okay?
Yeah,
Yep.
Excellent. So, thanks for allowing me to jump in on Zoom. I have about 2 or 3 meetings this morning that I'm jumping around the county on. So, starting to get in my busy time with EMS as far as education wise during the winter months. So we are prepping for a EMT and EMR class, hopefully here at the end of November to start up. So we're drumming up participants and students for that class. and getting everyone registered so we can get more providers here in the county. Also been busy doing community CPR classes, specifically more recently at Andrew Schools, doing their teachers recertifications this year, and a couple other just random community members going forward. So as far as CPR as well within the courthouse, I sent out emails, got responses from a handful of people of who would like to have that CPR training provided, and we're going to be working with the department heads and those employees over the next couple months to host those classes around their schedule. So trying to be as flexible as possible to limit the amount of disruption to those departments.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, we also had our quarterly county EMS meeting last week. Just to update you on that. So they did vote for officers and they remained unchanged. So Kyle Bales of Bellevue is still the president of the association, along with Ace Moore of Baldwin is the treasurer, and Travis Capacious of Lamont is the secretary. So those are their officers. Again, they're the current officers, and they're going to remain going forward for next year.
Okay. Any questions for Stormy? So I guess has it been about a year? How's things going overall?
Good. Yeah. I've been in position a little over a year now. Going good. It was an easier transition for me because I being a part of the association heading into this position, I had a lot of the background knowledge and working with individuals. So I feel it's good. The feedback I get from my association that everything's going well. And I try to do formally meet individually with the departments at least once a year. So coming out at the first of the year, I'll recap and meet with all the representatives or department heads and see, what am I doing for you? What can I do, going forward, and try to get a plan for at least the upcoming year.
Yeah, no, I think evaluations went out, so that'll give us some good indications if there's something needed. One question I have, but prior to this, I kept hearing on over and over and over again about being up to date on system standards.
Yes.
Is everybody up to date on the system standards?
Yeah, system standards is not a one-time thing. It's an ongoing program that we use to improve our services. So yes, we're up to date. We're in the middle of a recertification period. So our services recertify every 3 years. We just did that last year, so we're probably about a year and a half. So everybody's up to date with their system standards. They're up to date on their forms that the medical director has to provide and sign off on. So we're doing well with that.
Okay, that's what I like to hear. Any other questions for Mike? All right, thanks for the update and keep up the good work.
Thanks, Mike.
Have a good day. Looks like we got a couple lorries coming in yet, and so is Jeff maybe for an update. I don't know where Jeff's location's at. Any other business before the board that you want to report on? At this time, we'll take a brief recess. Okay, we will reconvene our meeting at this time, and Lori Rolling, Jackson County Zoning Administrator, has joined us for some business update and some business.
If I can just throw something out even before we get started.
Sure.
We're running a half hour early, and I know that the third thing on my agenda here, they're gonna be joining us by Zoom from out of area. And it's not only that company, your energy representatives are gonna be joining us. My understanding is that there's gonna be some local property owners that would probably be joining also. So if we want to go through what we have and then
Sure.
maybe come back to me, get Jeff in front of me and come back and take care of
that other business.
We can make it work.
Okay. So, just a quick department update. Thank you guys for being at our, our zoning commission meeting last Monday. I agree, it was productive. There was some good progress made. Last night we had a board of adjustment meeting. There was one case on the board's docket. And it was a special exception case regarding setbacks. They were asking for no closer than a 22-foot front setback for a garage and no closer than 5 feet 1 inch setback for a side setback for the same garage. And when I'm talking setbacks, I'm always talking from the closest point of the structure to the property line, not the foundation, but the closest point of the structure. So anyway, the board did not see any reasons not to grant that. It was up in Dressler's and it kind of fell into what the normal setbacks are there anyway. So they had no problems updating that. Next one is a nuisance complaint that I brought to you guys a couple weeks ago that was in Zwingle, in the rural, just into the county part of Zwingle. Becca and I did go out there and we were welcomed by the property owner that had the chemical lodged against him. And we walked his entire property. And there's some fencing issues that are probably best addressed by the township trustees, because that's where I understand that fence issues are taken
Resolved.
care of.
Yep, they're resolved.
And,
Supposed to be by the trustees anyway.
and then there were some concerns about animal feces and piles of animal feces. And like I said, we walked that whole property. This is a high intensity farming operation on a small piece of ground. This is your typical homesteader type farming operation where they're using every square inch for something. The piles that I saw there were, sure, there was animal feces on the piles, but they were compost piles that were being turned as they needed to. I did not find any particular piles with dead animals being composted. However, he did say, he showed me one area where there, can you remember what it was? It was a guinea or some small animal where he had covered it in lime. He's waiting to turn it, and that's how they dispose of their small animals. But it was not anywhere remotely close to the complainant. And we were right there. There was no decaying, dead smell going on or anything like that. My recommendation is to send the letter to both the property owner that was complained on and the complainant, and let them know that I basically found this unfounded.
So there's no violations yet that you could really.
Not that I can work with. However, there was some other things there that I can mention to you, and if you want me to pursue it, I can.
I would say at this time, Lori, your office and your staff or whoever it may be needs to just keep monitoring the situation, and let's keep everybody in perspective if we can, and
Well,
make sure it don't get out of hand. You know?
it's already out of hand. There's a civil case between these neighbors.
Well,
There's calls for service.
we can't.
I know, but no one's gonna be happy. It doesn't matter what goes on up there. Without somebody moving, nobody's gonna be happy.
Well, I guess I would say if you don't find anything in the nuisance complaint,
I didn't find anything in the complaint.
we've done our job.
Okay.
You've done your job as
Okay.
going forward with that.
Although I did find some violations that are part of our nuisance ordinance.
So again, like I said, you move forward with your due diligence and your monitoring of the situation and keep us apprised if you need to.
Okay, I can do that. So I'll get those letters sent out and I'll send you guys a copy of that letter.
Good.
Did
Okay.
we get any of our other, is that Blair?
Mhm.
Okay. Do
Uh,
you,
How many are you waiting on? Cause Jeff is here.
hey Blair? This
Good
is Lori.
morning. Sorry, guys.
Are you expecting anybody else to join us?
Nope, it'll just be me representing the team today.
Okay, I was thinking you had mentioned there was gonna be some local property owners potentially joining.
Yes, I know that they are in the field this morning, so I'm not sure what their availability is.
Okay, how about we put Jeff in front of me? And that'll give them time if they were planning on joining, remotely by phone or something that.
Okay.
Is that okay with you guys? I'm
Yep.
sorry.
Absolutely fine with me.
Since you're scheduled at 10:10, that we will come back to you after we get Jeff's report. All right, thanks, Lori. We'll see you in a bit.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay. Jeff Kilberg, Jackson County Facilities Manager, is here with a little update on the law enforcement center. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Hello.
So one thing, I mean, I thought I was going at 10:40 and I had a few people that may be joining us via Zoom or telephone as well.
Okay,
I don't know if it matters. It was gonna be John Hanson, possibly someone from Stronghold, possibly someone from SGT.
okay, so let's do this. Will you be available yet then? We'll do your other business or whatever you can report, and then we'll go back to Lori, and then we'll come back to you.
Yeah, I mean, I can report on most of this stuff or whatever, you know, and I
Yeah.
don't know what John would have
Yeah.
any.
Well, we could get updated at that time. We'll just take what we have and,
Yeah, okay. Okay, so, I met with three people yesterday. Andrew Long, the jail administrator, Jack Little and Tom Ackley from Stronghold. And, you know, we just kind of went over a few things that were going on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down my list of things. I'm gonna finish up with Stronghold and, because that seems to be the biggest issues going on right now. I'm gonna start with Kraus Plumbing. They completed the laundry room drain. That's finished. They do have to put the grate back on and do a little cleanup in there. There's also a sink next to that drain that's dripping, so I think they're gonna take care of that at that time. They need to install the 1/2-inch cold water copper water supply line with a service valve for the garbage disposal.
can I ask a question about that?
Yep.
So at one time we talked about 3/4 line. Are we just running two separate 1/2 inches? Is that what we're doing?
It'll be one line off of the 3/4
Okay,
that currently
okay.
feeds the 3-bay sink. So I think that'll
Suffice,
work,
yeah.
you know, because it's not tied into the dishwasher. So
Right.
that should be a good solution to that. They also have to put some screws in some floor drains. The one thing that I wanted to propose to John, so the small floor drain that they kind of had the things mixed up, they had to drill holes in that floor drain. They're pretty small holes. I just think an engineer should look at it, see if it's good enough to, you know, if the grease trap ever did back up, if that was gonna be sufficient, you know. So that would be one thing that I'd like for John to look at probably.
Or just a bigger drill bit.
That could work too. Yeah. And that would, yeah, I mean, that's probably what should have been done to begin with or whatever, but I mean, whatever they did, if it's sufficient, I mean, I'm fine with it, but if it's not, then, you know, that's probably what they'd have to do. They also need to work on the clean out pipes that are outside, they're above grade, you know, we're trying to get them down to grade, so for mowing and stuff like that, that we can go over top of them. According to John, Kraus is coming Thursday to complete these issues, so when they leave Thursday, everything should be finished. Next I'll address, Girardi Welding, what they're doing for us. They've completed a bench that's going to go in the holding area. It's designed to secure a prisoner, you know, while they're booking them in. He has that finished, but I told him just to bring it when he brings the backsplash stuff. He texted me this morning. He was coming over to get some measurements on the backsplash. So I think he's working on that today. Maybe it'll be delivered tomorrow.
Where's that bench gonna go?
It goes, you know, where the booking table or the booking area is, so right in front I think there's two spaces, like two open spaces, like a bank teller spots. I think it's going right between there, you know, that they could sit somebody down and handcuff them to it or whatever they need to do.
Okay.
So,
I know there's one similar to that in. Is it from the Sally Port coming in or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this is just a smaller version of that.
Okay.
It's just, I think it's only like 2 or 3 foot long or something like that, but I think they felt like that was something they needed. I don't know,
Okay. Wasn't in the original plans?
not that I know of.
Okay.
So once he gets the stainless there, we're gonna put that up on the wall, get that all secured, and then we can put the drywall on the back side of that wall. And then I think John Hanson has somebody to finish that, you know, they're gonna come in and tape it, mud it, stuff like that. One other thing, so last week there was a nuisance fire alarm at the fire, or that the fire department responded to. That's what Andrew told me yesterday anyway. According to the fire department, it's not uncommon for these calls in the construction phase. I suppose maybe some dirt got in a smoke head or something, you know, that's usually what happens. But one thing they did discover was that some of the areas haven't been relabeled yet. So they're labeled now as what was going on during the construction phase, and now these doors have new labels. So I think they're going to work on getting that relabeled. I don't have a date on that, or wait. Maybe on Friday that they're maybe planning to come. I forget what Andrew told me. So possibly on Friday, they're coming to get that taken care of so that
Is that
panel's.
Is that, who is that? Who's they?
I don't know who the fire,
So that's like if an alarm goes off,
it would be the fire alarm people.
It'll
Whoever did
say-
that. I'm not sure who did that.
Okay.
holding area or whatever
Yeah.
versus.
Yeah, so I mean, I think they had just door numbers, random door numbers during construction, and now they've been renamed to,
Sure.
you know, specific numbers, so. It'll help with, you know, if an alarm goes off again, you know, and kind of have a good idea where to
Specify
head
where
for.
to go, yeah.
Yep. The other thing we noticed on the air compressor that supplies the sprinkler system seems to be running quite a bit. The sprinkler company is supposed to be looking into that this week sometime. I think on Thursday they're scheduled to come in. So they're gonna try and see if they can find a leak or why it's running so often. anyways.
Well, if they can pressurize it, then it should hold for X amount of time, correct? I mean,
I mean,
think there's a
theoretically, yeah.
standard, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you track this kind of a thing down, you know, in that system, you know, I mean, it's a little bit different than what you would see regular airlines running somewheres or whatever, so, I mean, I don't know. But it seemed like about every hour and a half, it loses about 8 pounds of pressure and then it repressurizes. So I guess that's a good thing that it's keeping the pressure up, you know, so that thing doesn't blow
Sure.
out or whatever, but, you know, just something I think they're gonna look into.
Yeah, well, I mean, we need to know if it is leaking now and rather
Yeah.
than later.
Yep. The next thing, the control room hasn't been able to access the Woodman controls for the HVAC system. John says the temperatures can be adjusted on the wall thermostats, so maybe it's not a huge deal. Maybe it's more of a convenience, I guess, but the other thing I got thinking about is if they could be adjusted on the computer, you know, that person wouldn't have to leave their station, you know, they could still monitor other things. I mean, if we have it and it's something that should be functioning, probably.
Is that like a Bluetooth thing or something? You mean they can do it from phone, computer?
I don't know, maybe Bjorn can weigh in on this, he's talked to the guy and.
I haven't got much of a response.
Yeah.
He's supposed to come this week, I guess, to fix it or to look into it, but you're supposed to be able to go out to a web page and sign in and be able to adjust your settings from there. Andrew and I tried to, we couldn't get out to it, so he was gonna come Friday. I said I wasn't around. He was gonna come this week. I haven't heard anything at this time.
So anyway, I mean, I guess it's something that, like, if that person could make those adjustments, you know, and still monitor everything, probably is a positive thing rather than having to get up and walk away and, you know, fiddle with the thermostat of some sort. The next thing I have was Bruce Builders. John has contacted them about door labels that need to be replaced. I'm not sure I have a timeline on that. If John was on, he probably would have that, but if he logs in later, he'll probably have a better update on that. he also said that Paul from Bruce Builders is scheduled to be here on Thursday to work on the squeaky floor up in the control room. And I'm not sure if this falls under Bruce Builders or where, but the rooftop gas lines are being painted today. Scott Morrison is working to complete that. So I don't know if that's a Bruce Builder thing or who the painter was, if they were a sub under Bruce Builders or how that all comes out. But he is working on painting them today. He just texted me a little bit ago. He's on his way.
Got a good day for it to be on the rooftop.
Well, yeah, that's what his his thought was. Today might be one of the very last days.
Wednesday don't sound so good, but you
Yeah.
know.
And then the last thing I have are the door issues we're experiencing. So Stronghold and SGTS are over there right now. They're working on addressing this stuff. I mean, I don't know if you want me to go down the full list of things.
Well, I think we read it,
Yeah,
you know, we read them and, you know, again, we're not technicians or we're not on site. So, I mean, we are certainly concerned about the issues.
Yeah.
But it's not for us to address. I mean, I appreciate the update and the information. I appreciate the emails that are going back and forth that we get, you know, that we get to read some part of what's going on. So we're updated on where we're at. I mean, we might have comments here or there, but.
when I talked to Jack Little yesterday from Stronghold, he seemed pretty committed to trying to get this stuff resolved.
Well, I would hope so. I mean, it's at a point where we need to move.
And that's what I told him. I said, it's kind of holding us up. Being that's one thing that's.
And
really-
SGTS, whatever, is that right? Whatever it is, are they informed or do they touch base back with us again or?
Yeah, he's over there with them. So they're both
Okay.
over
I
there.
seen the Stronghold truck. I didn't see a
Yeah.
sign on the other one.
The SDTS guy said he got in last night about 5 o'clock. I don't know if he worked then or if he just went to a hotel or whatever, but he was there this morning when I got over there.
That's positive.
Well, I guess that's all I have. It's my understanding that John has given those trades a 2-week deadline to complete their deficiencies. That was last week sometime, so I mean, we should be a week into that now. So I would think.
Well, again, we do the best we can and I don't know what the situation is, if anybody is, I mean, I know everybody's busy. That's the other scenario and to get on the schedule and but
Yeah.
it seems like we kicked the can here a little bit, so somebody did, so we need to get this thing operational.
It looks like Delbert just sent an email, said he'll be here by 3:30 today.
Okay, yeah, Andrew did mention that. He said that he was gonna be here today or tomorrow, so.
It just popped up and said, I plan on being at your facility this afternoon about 3:30 to 4 o'clock.
So I mean, if we could have these door issues resolved by then, that would be a huge step, you know, for us. I mean, because other things are probably minor compared to the door issues.
Yeah, I mean, if the locks and if they ain't locked, they ain't locked and the lock should be locked and whatever they're saying, yeah, that's just a safety issue, so.
Has
I guess we'll-
Stronghold or whoever been talking to you about how to adjust these or?
I'm gonna try and catch him before he takes off here and maybe give me a little tutorial on, you know, how to adjust the door. And that was something John had talked about in the past too, you know, that they need to be here to kind of give us a quick rundown on parts that we may need, you know, how to work on them, things like that. So,
And take Bobby with you.
yeah, probably.
And so you think you'll be available at 10:30 or whatever they think they want to jump on, or what's your scenario?
No, yeah, I can come back in.
Okay,
I mean, I told them 10:40. I don't know if the Stronghold guys are going to log
Jump in?
on, but John sounded like he really wanted to at least call in if nothing else.
yeah, no, we appreciate that, getting updated from whoever we can. So I guess, again, you have your list. I wouldn't crumple it up and throw it away, even after it's done. I would keep it intact so that, you know, we got a year warranty going on here.
Yeah.
You know, we mentioned this before, we mentioned it 3 months ago, we mentioned it here, so.
Yep.
Now we have a concern. So if these holes ain't big enough and they gotta drill them out 6 months from now, let's address it.
Yeah.
Well, with John being gone quite a bit, we really appreciate you kind of stepping up and helping kind of orchestrate all this and herd the squirrels a little bit to help us cross the finish line, hopefully sooner than later.
Well, I think there's a little urgency. I mean, I think everybody feels urgency to get this thing opened up.
Well, and I think a lot of the issues will be resolved once you start using it on a daily basis and, you know, kind of break it in, so to speak, because
Yeah.
you're always gonna have a few growing pains, but,
Gonna have a a few tweaks we gotta do as you,
Well, there's no doubt about that, a new facility, and there's a lot of stuff going on there, mind you, but again, there's always gonna be something, but if we get on top of the stuff we know anyway, then that's
Right.
part of it.
I don't, know. Did Andrew log in? I mean,
he did log in.
I don't know if he has anything he wants to add.
Andrew,
Andrew, are you available at this time? I see that we might have another work session here in about a half hour or so, but you got anything to update us?
I don't think I have anything at the moment, no, to update on. I think Jeff covered it all. I would definitely echo that Jeff has been phenomenal in this process and helping get us to where we are.
So we appreciate that. Are you in the new facility there? Yeah, you're in yeah.
His office, so.
Yes, we
Yeah.
are.
Appreciate that. So, you guys are there and Stronghold's there and do what you can. If you need anything, I guess, like I said, we're kind of bystanders. We'd like to hear updates, but,
Did you hear Delbert will be here about 3:30, 3:30, 4 o'clock today?
Yes, I did.
This is John Hanson.
okay, perfect. John, any updates or I don't know if you heard Jeff's report? Items.
No, I didn't. I was trying to get in there and I was having problems, so. But,
Okay, so we were going to actually jump to zoning and come back, but do you know if Stronghold or anybody else intends to be on our updates? I guess you can keep us updated. There's nothing where Stronghold or anybody else is gonna update that you guys don't know.
well, they're on site and I've been in contact with them. I'm gonna be on site tomorrow. I'd sent a update as far as some of the other items, as far as the fire sprinkler company is gonna be there to, it appeared we were possibly losing some pressure on some of the pre-action system, or the compressor was running more often than necessary. So they're gonna be there tomorrow. Plumbing's gonna be completed tomorrow. I'm gonna be on site and working with Bill Bruce on floor. And so all that will be completed tomorrow. As far as the locks and stuff as that goes, there's gonna be a shakeout period. You're talking about minor DPSs and stuff like that. And some of the systems they just didn't understand, the staff didn't understand. They need to be trained on that. Such as if you have a hold open on a door, those are full cycle locks. So you have to physically open the door for the lock to cycle and to relock. You won't be using hold open when you got the facility occupied. But I just want to be clear, there's going to be a shakeout period, minor adjustments and stuff. And I told them not to leave that site until the staff was trained on some of those adjustments, like the door position switches and stuff like that. Because once the facility, the doors start getting used on a consistent basis, they'll have to make some minor adjustments and stuff as we go forward. But there should be no reason that they can't occupy the facility, especially with 9 inmates they have currently. There should be even to occupy it with the staff they have. But that's up to you guys on when you occupy the facility. But anyways, they're all there and they're not gonna, I told them I don't care if they have to stay there for a week, but until everybody's satisfied that they have the system adjusted accordingly. So.
Did you hear Delbert will be here between 3:30 and 4 today?
Well, then I told them that if he wasn't there today, that they needed to wait till tomorrow so that they'd be there while he was there. If they required an adjustment, they needed to make it while Delbert was there, because the occupancy permit needs to be issued. So.
Good.
I can't be there today. I have a pre-bid meeting in the morning. I told Delbert I'd be available Wednesday, but I don't even know why he's coming for minor adjustments. We took care of the issues that were indicated on his report. So, I mean, the blocks are functional. It's just that they're, you know, the registering on the screen is maybe, you know, not blinking correctly or something to that effect. So there are minor adjustments that I had sent out and I copied the board on. And it wasn't intended to go to Delbert, but obviously it did, so.
We got your report yesterday afternoon there, so we appreciate the updates like that, and again, we appreciate you staying with it, and so we can get this thing completed in a timely fashion.
Well, I'm gonna be there Thursday and if necessary Friday, so this dang stuff is, I mean, it's driving you guys crazy and it's driving me crazy. I'll be honest with you, you know. The other question, did you guys decide on, we got a price to paint the gas pipe on the roof for $1,250. Has that been approved?
Yeah.
Maintenance is having that completed by an individual today, as specified in the building, it's a contract as the architect required. 2 coats of certain kind of paint, and yeah, it has been.
Okay, because that was negotiated out when we had all the damage up front by the data contractor, the county's data contractors and furniture guys and everything else. A lot of times they don't paint that on the roof, but if you want it painted, that's fine. And so Jeff is taking care of it.
I'm not following what you mean by traded out. I mean, what do you mean by that?
I negotiated that out so that we didn't have the cost when we had to make the repairs to the drywall and everything up front from them guys moving equipment and stuff in.
Okay, so I guess going forward, or maybe we're too late with that, if you negotiate something out that wasn't gonna be completed, we would have to know that, so our maintenance personnel is not saying, hey, this is in the book, this is in the agreement, and it's not done. Now, we've been talking about that gas pipe for 3 weeks. Now it's gonna be done, but we didn't know that it was negotiated out.
It was in the letter that I sent.
Okay.
Way back when, so.
Okay, I might have bypassed that then.
Yeah, it got swept under the carpet in the heat of the battle, let me put it that way, so.
Okay. Well, again, there's little ticky-tacky things that we can't, there's always gonna be some of that, and we appreciate you moving forward with it.
Yeah, I was just, I was trying to say, minimize costs of county, that's what I was told to do, and
we appreciate that, but we still wanna go by what's in the original plan of what should be done, and I guess we feel like if this pipe is gonna rust and call this issue in 25 years, then we want it done now. If it was required or recommended that we paint it in a certain way, then we feel like we should be doing that. We're avoiding our warranty, if we will.
Yeah, I wouldn't void any warranties, but, typically that pipe won't hold paint very well anyways, because it's black iron with, and it's got to be stripped and everything, but that's fine. Is Jeff handling the that part of it? I got an email from Jeff for the amount, so do I need to tell him proceed, or is Jeff?
I mean, he's coming today to paint it, so I don't think you need to do anything, John, unless you feel like it.
Okay, that's my question. I don't wanna not do anything and then all of a sudden people come back to me and say, why didn't you do anything about it? So
today's a good day.
Take care of. Okay. Nope, that's fine. If that's being taken care of, and then I'll be there Thursday. I'll get together with Jeff when we get everything else tied up. I believe Sean should be there. So hopefully we can just button this up so that you can move on and get people in there.
Okay, so Brent and Andrew are with us also. You can probably see that, but I don't know, any questions you guys for John while he's here, or anybody else?
Okay. Yeah, I don't think we have any right now.
Okay, well, you guys are on top of it. You're there, and we appreciate you checking in on us, John, and let's get her wrapped up.
Yep, not a problem.
All right, have a good day.
Is there still an
you
intention
too.
then at 10:40 to meet, or is that all resolved now?
I think that's it. I mean, the only other issue would be Stronghold. I think you guys, if they're there, you can resolve between Jeff and you guys, I mean, cuff them to the bench if you have to, and
Yeah, I told them not to leave till they Andrew and the rest of them were satisfied. So,
well,
anyways, I'll probably give Andrew a call. I got a couple of things to go over with him after he gets back over there, and we'll go over that.
okay, well, that'd be a good test to see if the doors lock on the cells, if they put them in there and keep them overnight.
All right.
Well, they lock, the doors are locking. It's just not
was a joke,
it's not registering on the computer. So,
Open the bear.
All right, thank you.
hey, thanks. You have a great day.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right. Anything else we need to know?
I mean, I don't think so. I mean,
Are you gonna be around here for a while yet, or no? Or at this facility?
I can be if you need me to. Yeah. At some point, I'm going to run back over there. I got a couple things I can
Yeah,
do
why don't you
real
hang around for 20 minutes or so yet?
quick. Okay. All right.
Cool, thanks.
Yep.
Or check in before you go.
All right.
How about that? Okay. Appreciate the update there from everyone. Is Lori is back in the facility. And we will continue. We have Blair is here with us from, is it you are?
You are energy.
And we're here to discuss, well, I'll let you.
Well, it's been about 4 weeks now, I'm thinking, that Blair and other companies from, other people from her company were here to talk about their data mining operation. And there was some local property owners here that are looking to have their property purchased or leased by Your Energy. And I know Blair provided information that you guys had requested. It was emailed to you guys. And I think maybe there were still some concerns that maybe, I know Nan had addressed a concern. So how about if you guys have any questions, here's a great opportunity to ask Blair about it, and I'm sure she can explain it.
So, do you want to go or do you what?
Well, my one concern that I had stressed to Lori, and she kind of reached out to Blair, and I had gotten the information from the electrical company, but I have not gotten a hold of them yet to contact, was kind of, if they're coming in and using so much energy, is at what point, or is there a point where, okay, we're taking all this energy now that maybe rates would go up versus you're using all this energy and rates going down, or if it would change rates at all to the residents of Jackson County.
Absolutely, Nan. And what I'm pretty sure that I had sent an email back, just kind of explaining it, but I'm more than happy to go over it again. When it comes to the utility company and we go to them and say, do you have any excess power? What does that look like? They're the ones that determine what availability there is for power, what's excess. We don't go to them and say, I want 8 megawatts. And they say, well, yeah, I guess we could do that. So this is all coming directly from the utility, and they're doing all of the line studies and everything that's required to understand the capacity level that's required to distribute to the rest of your members. But in the sense of, what will it do? I know that we had discussed that it does in fact stabilize the grid. So if you were to see any change in your personal membership rate, the change would be decreasing.
Okay, so we had mentioned when you were here, and but several counties that had some data mining facilities already. So Potawatomi was one of them, and I had good discussions with several individuals from Potawatomi, and so they don't really have an ordinance in place. as I understand it, these facilities that they do have, the two, they didn't really know much about it. But the facilities they do have are in the city limits of Shelby. So they're inside the city limits, or that's Shelby County.
Shelby County, is Harlan. Harlan, or excuse me, Shelby County is actually in the county.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to anybody in Pot, but I've talked to, Tony Booman, who's the assessor and the zoning administrator in Shelby. And they did theirs as special use or conditional use.
They did.
And he, to his knowledge, which could be different than the Board of Supervisors, but to his knowledge, there's been no downside.
No, and the other thing that he did mention with Janet from Planning and Zoning in Potawatomi was they're estimating a value of these things at around 3 million. Is that somewhere in the area, Blair?
Correct. And that Potawatomi site, for example, and I know, again, we've discussed that this is all kind of high level information, but let's put this site in particular at a number 4. The sites that we would be putting into Potawatomi County, or excuse me, into Jackson County, we have 6 potential projects. There's only 2 or 3 that we have secured with an LOI as of right now. Obviously pending, what our options are with permitting. Kind of depends on how we proceed with that. But so like I said, the 3 million is estimated at a 4. These sites will be anywhere between 6 and potentially 12
million.
So, I mean, let's do the math. 4 equals 3 million. So let's estimate it 5 would be about a 9 million, or not 5, excuse me, 4. We'll get to 12. 12 would be right in that range.
So
it increases with investment and how large the project is.
Sure, and it's very vague, from what I can tell. There's really no, but I don't know how the assessors are gonna go about assessing that as commercial or how we do this.
Even if it would be on industrial, I got a little background
Well,
here.
I mean, yeah, so I guess there is potential.
Because it wouldn't be looked at as ag, even if it was on ag zone property, it was leased land, they could, or even owned land by UR Energy. Well, let's just go back, if it was on leased land on ag land, you can still assess the structures as industrial or commercial. And
Right.
Correct. And that's kind of what we're understanding too, Lori, is that this is treated as an industrial when it comes to assessments or insurance, all of those categories, just to confirm.
Claire, can you say, are you looking at leasing or buying?
So we're looking at both. I've got it right in front of me with the projects that we have planned for Jackson. There's one that's a land purchase, 2 land purchase, 1 is a lease, and 1 is a 50-50 partnership. So we would split the lease payments, and then the purchase money would go towards the landowner. It just kind of depends, because you've got very unique circumstances with each landowner. One, is a large farmer, another one's small family farmer. You've got one that, wife just passed away, one's terminally ill, etc. So it comes down to taxes or how they're wanting to space that out, per landowner. So
again, just to finish up here, whatever, I call Woodbury County because they have 2 there also, correct? I had extended conversation with Dan Presley and Dawn from zoning. And they actually permitted these on a conditional use permit. So, because they don't have a specific ordinance. So I guess my question is, can we also do this on a case by case? Because I don't know what's going to happen here. You were coming here with a proposition of a couple boxcars, if you will, and put these here. All of a sudden, we got a 3-acre parcel that's covered or something. So I don't know what happens. And so I'd like to keep it somehow on a case by case, so we know what's coming forward to us. Is there material data sheets that are available with these? I would suspect, correct? So we know
I have on hand 2 conditional use permits that we have filled out, and one's in Pot County, one's in Shelby. It's a little bit tricky because we had to annex a portion of the land. So we're willing to do, whatever you guys are more comfortable with. Obviously, a conditional use permit would be a more ideal scenario. And if that needs to be case by case, we're totally willing to do that because we also are aware that, this isn't going to stay the same forever either. We're willing to adapt with you guys in whatever form you guys are most comfortable with.
I don't know if that's a conditional use or special,
I believe that they are very similar. The forms just have different questions.
special use or something.
Yeah,
And we have both of those to share.
and I've never, I've done conditional use or special use, Board of Adjustment cases
Sure.
before. However, this will be unique. This will be a first time for this type of.
Well, it's very vague of
conditional use.
what's going on here, and
Yeah.
that's what everybody's telling me. They didn't,
Some of them
honestly,
didn't know- the
most
few
of
I
them didn't even know they were
contacted
there.
didn't even know they were.
Yeah.
Were really there,
That's a good sign, right?
so. But,
Well,
Yeah,
but
the scenarios,
so,
but
you know,
I don't know if that's a
One-
good number or not. I mean, we have a value on this thing that we're estimating here right now, so, I mean, somewhere along the
well,
line.
and, again, going back to the other issues we're having, I mean, Blair, if you come into the community, I hope you're here a long time. But if you're not, is there bonding or anything for decommissioning or getting rid of what's. What's
yeah, absolutely. So I don't know if I've given this backstory. We're kind of in a unique situation right now with Makokata Valley in the sense of we have to meet a certain deadline, which right now is being given to us as December 21st, per the ESA, which is the electrical service agreement. Our client signs that and we own the property, we lease the property. So our intention is to be there for a long term, and whatever that land is used for, it will all be very similar in the same aspect. But we do have a decommissioning process that we have, just to get the concrete out, take care of all what we need to do. But truly our intention is to stay there and continue to, modify the infrastructure. So it's a longer lasting condition.
So do you do like bonding for your decommissioning, or are you just saying we got something in place and this is what we'll do?
Yep, we have something in place. The same contractors so we utilize all of the same contractors for commissioning and decommissioning. Everybody's aware of where all of the wires and everything goes. And so if we were to be put in the position of, decommissioning, we would be utilizing the same contractors to pretty much reverse what they had done in the beginning. So.
You spoke briefly about Makokata Valley and the deadline. Could you explain that a little bit more?
Absolutely. So we
here.
have to have this site up. Originally, when we had first came into Makokata, we had spoke with Nick, and our biggest thing was to build more of, let's per se, a Morton building kind of structure, because we want the community to be like, okay, these are long term. This isn't something that here today, gone tomorrow sort of situation. So when we were given this deadline from the utility and the power provider, SIPCO, we were able to pivot towards these containerized structures. It's not necessarily more cost effective than doing a building, just to kind of put that out there. It's a very large investment just for those containers, let alone the computers that go inside. So yeah, we pivoted to the containerized structures. Our goal is to be building oriented, hopefully in the next few years, strictly building. So these clients on these two pieces of land that we're looking at right now are wanting to build a building after or in the next year. So just to kind of give a perspective, I know that we had discussed that this is kind of a special per basis kind of situation. And we agree because, we're wanting to potentially put buildings up on this land eventually. And that just, is a special use type situation just till we're able to build the building, just to kind of put it into perspective.
So Blair, if we're not comfortable moving forward in that time frame of your December cutoff, what happens?
Then we won't be able to move forward with the project until, we can
I'm
get.
not saying that we wouldn't decide to move forward, but it takes time after we decide, because
Well,
the process.
Can I
Sure.
just go through the process?
Yeah.
All right, we had a Board of Adjustment meeting last night. my deadline for my November meeting has gone and passed. Typically, we don't have a December meeting because the way we fall on the fourth Monday, I think that would put us the 23rd of December or something like that. So as a rule, my zoning commission does not meet in December. However, if we needed to, I could convene. I have time to get a meeting convened maybe the first week of December if we needed to move forward.
So I'm guessing, what I'm trying to say here is it's certainly not convenient for anybody to wait 2 months to have a meeting, so.
Well, it'd actually be January before our next meeting is scheduled.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
That's
excuse
not-
me.
That's
Yeah.
not reasonable. I
Yeah,
think,
it's
for
not.
anybody
It's not.
waiting to do something or to move forward, even for us. I forget what we talked about by January. So, I mean, if we can even have a meeting in November, if it's possible, whenever, I don't know. So we're not in November yet, so we got the whole month. I don't know what that does.
How
for
far
you.
out is your deadline cut off for a meeting?
For me to have, I think we missed our cutoff to be able to have a meeting on the, 1, 2, 3, for the 25th of November. Because we'd have to have our notice to the paper, by Friday. So that would be excuse me, I gotta get to the right date.
That's
1,
the
2, 3,
first.
4. The 28th of October is where we're
We're on the 29th.
Geez,
on the
looking-
29th. Hang on here. So I could get a notice to the paper by
This Friday.
this Friday. It would be published on the 6th, and I need 10 days.
Maybe the 20th,
Yeah.
So
well, 10 days.
Well, your meetings on the
14 days.
Mondays or Wednesdays?
Mondays,
So the 18th and the 25th, or you could have a special meeting on the Wednesday?
I could have a special meeting, on the 10 days after that notice would hit.
Which would be,
So the
you
18th
talking business days or you talking
total
day-
days
total
after
days?
they're published, yeah.
It would be the
Well,
18th.
here, just a second. No, I got that wrong. All right, so if it goes to the paper on the 1st.
Yep.
It would be published, okay, it would be published on the 6th.
Yeah,
All right, so then I have,
What, do you
So-
gotta give notice to the adjacent landowners?
yes,
And what do they have, are they the 10-day thing also then?
they, typically they'd have a week's notice.
so you could notify them right away too by the end of
Yeah.
this week, so they.
The 25th would be our normal date for, a meeting. It just puts a little more pressure on us, but we could make it happen.
I'm not gonna say I expect you to have a meeting, I'm saying for the sake of meeting a deadline, or
Mhm.
can you get the deadline extended to Macocota Valley, or? I'm trying to suffice everybody here.
I agree.
No, I totally agree. I understand. And sorry, I almost said the worst part, but the most complicated part is the deadline is coming from SIPCO, who is the power provider. It's not Macocota Valley themselves, whereas Macocota Valley, yeah, get us on when you can. But it's coming from the power provider. So our next deadline to meet, to be enrolled into, and the reason is because of the power rate. If it goes above a certain amount, it's not worth us being turned on, having that capacity, et cetera. So getting enrolled by these certain dates is what's allowing us to have that special rate. So if we hit that, our secondary deadline, I believe, is May. It would just obviously be more ideal, to get these projects moving, since we've been discussing with the landowners, but I completely understand the process too. So we respect that.
My only reservation with this whole process and, in doing some investigation, knowing of a facility close to here and stuff, it seems like it's rather zero impact or negligible impact on the surrounding area, except for the energy usage, is the fact that right now we have wind, we have solar, we have battery storage, and we have data mining that we've all kind of put a moratorium on. How can I separate in my mind when we talk decommissioning plans, this kind of stuff? We have taken a year to do one ordinance and we just go, special use or a variance, go for it. How do we treat them different?
This would be a different type of operation. They're not producing they're a user, they'd be like another industry in our county that is using power. That's how I would separate it. And knowing that the Board of Adjustment does have controls over conditions. So they could set some condition.
One thing,
And that's why I would say case by case, like you mentioned when we began, we had 4 weeks to gather information and I did the best I could, but there's not a lot out there.
Right.
You know, and I don't see a big negative to it, but that's why I wanted to look at it case by case. She's gonna give me 2 cases or 2 sites that you'd like to do now. I wanna know what's going there. And then we say, okay,
They'd be individual Board of Adjustment cases.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They
right.
would be looked at.
So if
individually.
it's 2
One-
containers or whatever it is, then we know, this is how many fans and this is how loud it is. That way we know. Now, the next one is gonna be judged on whatever it is. You know, if it's a special exception, it's a special exception for this. Now, again, I mean, we had a month, so I mean,
So-
whatever we could gather, we did, but.
one thing that I would like to bring up is, and it kind of put a little bit of perception in for me is, you know, when you have a cattle farm, you don't ask them what type of cattle feed they're feeding them. And this is the same thing, you know, whatever infrastructure we're using inside of these containers or buildings, they're all going to draw the same amount of power regardless. Nothing will change on that because we have a number that we are supposed to not exceed and we're not able to exceed with the utility. So whether immersion or hydro or air cooled, they're all pulling the same amount of power. Just to, you know, bring
And
that into.
In Cisco, when they set the limitation of power, also, do they also set during peak seasons and stuff when you can draw power?
So that's our demand response program. If we are hitting anywhere within the peak, we are shutting down. There are programs in place and that they are constantly monitoring what that price and that peak is. So we don't ever come close to that peak because of these automated systems. We also have a third-party aggregator that we have in with us. They are Grid Beyond, and they are watching real-time market pricing, and they will be able to get us a little bit closer to that shutoff just to add extra insurance. So we do have all of those things in place that it would not interrupt any of the other members.
So Blair, just so you kind of understand, I mean, I understand that you're saying you got systems in place because one, you don't want to hit the peak periods because it's going to increase your cost of running the servers or whatever also. But, you know, again, as we've talked about, we're dealing with wind and these other things. They all had systems in place too, and they had catastrophic failures because something didn't go right.
Absolutely.
So, you know, that's kind of a little bit of a concern for me is, you know, during this peak time and now we have a blackout because you, from your side, have a catastrophic failure, which it didn't shut it down like it was supposed to or whatever, you know.
See, the only issue coming from us hitting that peak time is we get approximately $1 million ticket just for that one hit. And then we are allowed we're allowed yeah, we are allowed 2 strikes with the utility before they kick us off their program. Therefore, we would no longer be qualified for the special rate.
And that's stuff we don't know either, so we're very big.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. It's a very big.
So again, we're
spectrum.
just cautious, like Nan emphasized, we're just being cautious and doing the right thing, we hope.
I'm trying to, you
So-
know, our goal is to try to do the right thing for the community.
Right. Yeah,
What we're
100%.
putting these positions
Is-
for, so.
If we decided, or if we decide here to move forward, is it something that you can disclose the 2 sites that you'd like to move forward with?
They have to.
I mean, right now.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, let me pull it up real quick. So the 2 that we are.
Just so you know, we have the media here, you know, so I don't know if you want to disclose.
Absolutely.
Obviously,
Absolutely.
we know before it happens. Again, we're talking.
Bob Ringen was one of the landowners that came in. And he's over on He's in
We-
Miles.
Yeah.
And then our secondary one that we would be purchasing land from is Daryl Thordson. And he's in Monmouth.
Monmouth Township, south of town.
Are they both purchases?
Both of these two would be purchases. We have two more that we have LOIs with, but I don't want to jump the gun on them until we figure out what that purchase or lease or whatever
There
that would
was
be like.
individuals here that day that, you know, we're sitting to hear things, but we're not going to disclose either.
Blair, can you give us the actual terminology of LOI, please?
Letter of intent. Sorry, I thought I was on mute. And one thing that Lori said that I would like to go back and highlight is, you know, your solar, your wind, all of your generators, etc. Those are energy producers. Those are generators, and Bitcoin does not. Bitcoin data centers, all of those do not generate power. They utilize the power. You know, and again, mentioning that we're not able through the utility, through the power provider, to exceed the power that we have signed on our ESA electrical service agreement that is given to us from the power provider and the utility. There are very strict contracts that are put in place between the utility client and ourselves. So we are pretty locked in, if you would say.
Okay, other questions for Blair? So where do we stand right here? Are we, it's on your agenda for either, action of lifting the data mining moratorium, and then if I perceive the process would be go to your board.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to just double check just reread what we have to do, just to make sure it's all Board of Adjustment, or to see if it has to touch my zoning commission. If it did, one of the things I would try to do, oh gosh, like my zoning commission doesn't have enough on their plate.
One thing at a time.
I know, well, I was gonna see about doing a joint,
Yeah.
if I needed to, even though that meeting on the 18th of November is sucked up with wind.
It
So,
could be
but-
short, it could be long. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I could get them in, if we need to do a joint, I could see if they would also meet on the 25th with my Board of Adjustment. I'll look at my ordinance and see how I need to make it happen. I can make a meeting happen for November 25th as long as I get everything to the paper by Friday noon. And Blairman, I need an application for each of your properties and the fees, which we can discuss after this meeting.
I mean, yeah, we need
I guess the
information.
question, can she make an application if you don't own the properties?
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, we'd have, the actual property owner be signing also. And she would be acting as an agent, kind of like a contractor when they're building a house and
Right.
getting the permit for somebody. But yeah, we'd still have the property owner.
So obviously, we need information, you know, the site, the size, you know, the fans that would be included,
Yeah,
You
and
know,
that would
we
be
could figure
part
out the noise, yeah.
that would be part of what you'd be presenting to the Board of Adjustment, Blair.
I mean, yeah, because that's some
With
of
the
our.
conditional use.
Yes.
Okay.
some of
Yep.
our
Yeah, that's not a problem at all.
Be able to ease the neighbors in the surrounding area that they're not gonna hear this.
You know, and one big ticket item that I utilize a lot with those landowners is the provided decibel levels that I've done. And that seems to make a lot of sense to them. So just to see it in real time against other things that they would normally hear outside is helpful. So
It'd be interesting because, yeah, you know, for instance, I can hear my neighbor's corn dryer from 2 miles away, so not an issue, but I can do it.
Yeah.
But
You know, they weren't
you
asked-
also know that's not 365 days a year.
But I get it, but they wasn't asked to provide that noise decibel for me either.
Right. Would you email that
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
the
Right,
Board of
but again,
Supervisors,
short
Blair, and the,
There's a
um,
difference.
and to my office?
Seriously, 7 miles out of town, they can
Absolutely.
do depending on the weather.
Right.
I mean, it all depends on barometric pressures and
So, are we all on the same page here? Are we in a position, are you in the board relatively secure or ready to lift the moratorium and let them apply anyway? Is that what I'm trying to say?
I'm good with that. And then the Board of Adjustment, and like I said, I'm gonna just double check the ordinance because there's two different parts of the ordinance that kind of talk to each other.
So would the board adjustment still bring it to us for approval or would they approve it
The Board of Adjustment would make the approval.
pending information they
Yeah.
receive? So what's the,
But if I have to bring in my zoning commission, they would have to bring their recommendation to you.
I guess I would like to wait to see what.
I actually sent you guys that email, and I don't have a phone on me where I can look up the email. It goes back over a month. And I copied my
Did you-
two sections of my ordinance.
You sent it?
Yeah,
so
it would have been.
I guess if I'm reading all the information I have correctly, you can't even move forward unless we lift the moratorium. That's where we're at. That's where we're at.
That's where we're at.
So we're still not approving anything. We just lift the moratorium. First we get the
So it can go.
info. It can go to the board of adjustment.
Mhm.
And if it's a special use or a one time, I mean, again, we've kicked this around for a month that we should have had time to get whatever we needed to and the Board of Adjustment will have to have information too. I suspect whatever we have.
It'll have to be part of their application process
Yeah.
or the packet
Right.
that goes to them.
So,
And here, I'm just spitballing and brainstorming here while we're sitting here. If I do find it has to go to my board of, my zoning commission to move this through, could we do a joint zoning commission, board of supervisor, board of adjustment at the same time? Because that way my zoning commission could recommend approval to my board of supervisors. The board of supervisors said, yeah, you can move, and then it would go to my board of adjustment at the simultaneously almost.
I would say we could do that under legal advice that's all kosher.
Okay,
I don't have a problem with it. If it's viable for everybody to be there or either attend via Zoom or whatever
can
is
we
available.
do it? Hold an actual joint meeting, or would it just be a work session?
no, it would actually be a mere
You'd have to
hearing.
take action, so it would.
It would be a hearing.
Work session is a meeting.
So is that a
So I'm
public
not
notice
here.
also? That's a public notice also.
Oh, I'd have to do my 10 and 20s.
Yeah.
For my board of adjustment and board of adjustment and zoning commission if we have.
So to
time.
figure out how we can do it, first we have to lift the moratorium if the board so desires. That's where we're at. On data mining specifically.
Specifically.
What's the wishes of the board?
I only have one question, and I'm looking it up. So you put I'm just sitting here thinking of the rest of you. So you have a resolution that approved the moratorium.
Okay.
You want a resolution to
Lift.
lift the
We
moratorium?
have to.
Or my other thought would, at least we need to reference back this resolution number.
That they're,
That's so just for clarity.
how do you think that would best work?
Well, we don't have a resolution prepared today, and so time is of the essence, it sounds like.
If you
We
move-
do have a
what if we move
resolution.
This to the December 2nd.
Could we just make a motion to rescind
that resolution that we
Resolution.
Well,
approved.
so that's the question, I guess. I'm gonna refer to legal counsel on that. Can we, I mean, I know that we've done that, because so that's just, I'm just trying to make sure that we're, so either we need to have a resolution to lift it, or we need to have a motion to rescind this resolution. So the question is do we need to have a resolution to rescind the resolution?
Well, we've lifted and rescinded resolutions before and replaced them.
But
In
we
the
did that with
same,
resolution,
With the
though.
resolution.
We don't have a resolution this time.
right, but if you had one in place, so I guess I don't know. I would
So-
assume you could lift the resolution.
Again, my
Um,
question would be, would we be better to wait until have the meeting on like December 2nd, which is not your normal 4-week whatever,
Gives me more time.
but it gives you another week. It gives you another week to bring.
I think it makes it cleaner if you have a resolution to rescind a
I
resolution.
mean, I just really don't want to rush this and do things wrong either.
Okay, so I'm gonna just throw this out since Lisa's got it rolling for us. So come back next week with a resolution to rescind the moratorium resolution. But still,
After advice from legal counsel.
okay,
I'm fine with that. I'm just saying. And the reason I know this is because I spent a lot of time working on our website with our resolutions. That's what I just pulled up. And I know that I've seen a lot of resolutions that are rescinding other resolutions, and it's clean that way.
Okay.
I'm a little concerned that we have resolutions over here and we have meeting minutes over here. We want to make sure that the two connect. So for cleanliness and for future, it's nice to have a resolution rescinding a resolution.
I could see that because I've had trouble doing paper
Right.
trails.
Yes.
Does that put your time frame in still in perspective there, Blair, or what?
In order to, I mean, so the process normally for us is, the first thing that we do is we have our engineering team come in, topo, survey, all of the things that we need in order to get the dirt work moving. Dirt work's done. We do the rock gravel base and our concrete at the same time. And then we place the pods, do all of the electrical infrastructure. So no, I don't think it'll meet the December deadline, but it's fine if we need to extend into next year. I would just like a resolution, and I don't want to push you guys out of your comfort zone, and I want to do what's best for your county as well. I don't have any ill intention against the county, so I want to do what you guys are comfortable with, and whatever that looks like for you guys, we're willing to work around that. So whatever you guys feel is best.
I guess I don't know what your deadline includes. This includes that we lifted it, that you can move forward, or it means you gotta have everything.
Correct. We would have to be up and operational by the end of December would be
Oh.
our latest deadline. So
That's probably fast. Yeah, I guess at this point, you're in the position to contact them and see if you can either extend that or move it to the next deadline.
Otherwise, you'd have to do a conditional motion today and then pass the official. Well, I don't know how fast you want to move, but I mean, this is a pretty fast track.
It is. It is.
So 1 week will allow her to get the pad and everything set and the boxes in place and up and operational? I find that hard to believe.
No, because she has to still apply.
Blair,
for it.
Yeah.
even if we were to do this on the 25th of November, you still can't meet that deadline, can you?
no.
Okay, all right, so we're okay to push it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so whether it's on the 25th of November or the 2nd of December, it's a moot point to have done by your December deadline.
And please understand, we're not trying to push you out or negate any of your process, but I would just, again, trying to be cautious for our own purpose.
Totally understood.
Okay, well, we appreciate you coming in and giving us information anyway. I'm fairly comfortable with what's going on. It's just, again, there's not a lot of
Blair, if you
information out
could
there.
send out that decimal comparison reading, that would also help me.
I think we got that. yeah.
I believe that was included in all of the information that I had originally sent,
Okay.
but if you would like for me to send it again, that's not a problem.
Yeah. no,
Nope, I can refer back, that's fine.
Okay, so where are we at with the moratorium? And we're gonna bring it back? Is that what we decided? To leave it on the agenda for?
For next week.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So
Okay, we'll keep moving as we can.
we'll get the
With the
moratorium.
information we gather, Blair.
Thank you for your time.
Good.
Thank you. So I'll have that ready for you guys next week. Okay, and that's, you guys are gonna push me in and push me out. That's a busy time for you. Luann's kind of like, oh, we have to have her on the agenda.
Make it short.
We'll make it quick, you guys. All right, so we'll have everything ready for you, so you can, well, we're just trying to be mindful of what you guys have going on. So. And so I should probably wait to, I need to contact my board. I need to read through that ordinance again and see where we are. And just make sure that, I can pull together my board for a special meeting on December 2nd. And possibly my commission also. The commission, not my commission. But,
Well, I mean,
because if we ended up having to do it that way, we'd have a zoning commission meeting. It would end. They'd make a recommendation. We would move into the Board of Supervisors meeting for approval of the recommendation. You guys would be done, and then we'd move it to the Board of Adjustment meeting.
but if we're not trying to make a December deadline, is that necessary?
Well,
Or do we just want to get it done and over?
I'd say you're right, we wouldn't necessarily have to, but now we don't know what her secondaries are either. Well, she did mention May, but I know their landowners are really looking, our property, local property taxpayers are looking for some answers, and I was really surprised that we didn't.
This year.
Pardon me?
The one that I talked to wanted it finalized this year.
Yeah. There's
We could finalize the sale this year. I don't know if that'd be an issue.
well,
I don't know that
They-
they buy it with knowing it's
yeah.
a go.
Because they probably want to have this behind them so they can move forward with a survey, because they have to do surveys to get
Great.
the sale.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, we are stretched for time too, so I think we're doing the best we can do.
I'd say let's do our best to move forward.
I would guess so, yeah. I mean, whatever you can do with on your end. Again, I mean, whatever. It's gotta be reasonable for you.
Yeah, well, nothing's reasonable for my office right
It is what
now,
it is.
so we'll just roll with what we get and do the best we can.
Sounds good.
Okay, so
So any action to be taken by us? Not really, right? Or is there, just to move forward on your end? I don't think there's any action to that, so we're not actually on our agenda is to lift the moratorium. We did not do that, so.
discussion and, possible action. Yeah, so we did discussion,
We didn't take no action.
correct. So we will
That's the way it stands.
keep that part on next week's agenda.
Okay,
Okay,
Cool.
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
You bet.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, have a good day.
Thanks, Lisa, for your, you're welcome. Keep us above reproach there.
Okay, Jeff is back. Any updates since you left before?
Can you-
Okay,
my-
any other business before the board?
Motion adjourned.
Second thought.
Have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye opposed. Motion carried, meeting adjourned.